a dream. Baby, I'm dreaming. It was all a dream. Baby, I'm dreaming.
Telling me it's all okay, keep telling me it's all alright. Feels like I'm losing touch, running out of words to say how much this means to me, baby, this is deep for me. I never wanna fall in your eyes, never good enough for me to say how much I'm doing. Working so goddamn hard, I forgot how much I had been doing. Blinded by your love, I thought I was enough, but that's alright. 'Cause these voices in my head, 'cause these voices in my head, and I can hear them talk, I can hear them talk, I can hear them talk, I can hear them talk. These voices in my head. See these voices in my head. See, there is something that I need to say. My heart's not here, my head will stay. It runs deep down within my veins. I can't try to run away, I can feel it. I know it's there. Can't kick this feeling. I know you're scared. 'Cause these voices in my head, 'cause these voices in my head, 'cause I can hear them talk, I can hear them talk, I can hear them talk, I can, 'cause these voices in my head, these voices in my head, oh, 'cause these voices in my head, I can hear them talk, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming. Honestly, I really do appreciate it. I know it's like after work, during the week, so yeah, thank you so much for coming. So I don't feel like many people actually know what Unfiltered Clarity is, what it's about, why it exists. So essentially, it is a space online and offline to help young adults navigate through early adulthood, because I feel like there are so many things going on, so many organisations going on, like matcha, Pilates, you know, very like mainstream things. And I want to create something more long lasting, more premium and more inclusive as well. And that's really like what Unfiltered Clarity stands for. As I said, it's a space to help young adults navigate through early adulthood. So I feel like a lot of us spend our 20s asking questions. Why am I where I am? Am I doing the right thing? Am I around the right people? You know, what am I meant to be doing? Am I behind? And why do I feel lost? You know, why is everyone else so far ahead? That's how it seems. And Unfiltered Clarity becomes a space for like reflection, conversations, and the kind of grounding I wish I had had when I was younger. Tonight isn't about pretending that we've got it all together and acting like we've got all the answers, because even somebody that isn't in their 20s, again, they're just taking it day by day. They've never been the age that they currently are, so we're all just figuring it out. So it's about being honest enough to ask the right questions and ask better questions as well. Because if you're trying to understand yourself, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. If you're actively thinking, am I in the right space? Am I doing the right thing? At least you're actively aware, you're actually switched on. There's so many people that are on autopilot. One thing I've noticed is that we're living in a culture that encourages us to care less, encourages us to switch off, or I shouldn't care too much, I shouldn't have my heart on the line. You know, we're told to be like nonchalant, play it cool, to never show too much interest. Yet somewhere along the way, we've been taught that vulnerability is weakness and that protecting ourselves is more important than connecting with others, which isn't true. Even the fact that there's only a small amount of us here, I feel like we are about to be vulnerable. We can be vulnerable, and not only because it's like a small group of us, but because this is what Unfiltered Clarity is about, to be vulnerable and to feel safe doing that. One of my favourite quotes, one of my very, very favourite quotes is, "We only get one life, so why aren't we running like we're on fire towards our wildest dreams?" And I just love that, because we just get one life, you know, and I think sometimes we need to be more aware of that. When you sit with that idea, it does really change things. It kind of just shifts things as well. And you stop waiting for the perfect time. And even this event, it was supposed to start at a certain time. It was supposed to be more people here, but you can't wait for the perfect time. Sometimes you just have to go. Stop assuming that you'll always have another opportunity. And that's another thing. I think too often we plan, we prepare, we kind of think we've got all this time in the world, when actually sometimes you just need to go and just hope for the best and take that risk. And that's why Unfiltered Clarity can be for everyone, but it isn't for anyone who doesn't actually want to change. And that's why I said right from the beginning, whoever does come, 10 people, 15 people, I want everyone to come, not just to watch, not just to listen, but to actually walk away benefiting. Growth requires participation, and it requires honesty. And the truth is, we're all a little bit scared in our own ways. We might want to admit it, we might not want to admit it, but we are all a little bit scared, and that is vulnerability in itself. But fear isn't the problem. Staying stood and just being in that fear is a problem. You know, moving is better than just doing nothing. If you don't know what the next step is, don't do nothing, make a plan, write it down. It might not be a great plan, but make a plan, make a start, and start from that foundation. And then you can adjust along the way, because action creates information. And I've noticed that as well. Even this event, like you asked me, Harris, when did you start this? When did Unfiltered Clarity start? And I said, what, a month ago? Like very, very new, but action created information of me thinking, actually, let me now, I'm like, my mind's like a treadmill. I'm like, now that I've just started it, obviously it does take some preparation. I'm not saying going blind in every situation, but in some situations you can actually take that risk and go in blind. But like I said, but doing nothing teaches you nothing, and that's really, really important. Self-talk and work have to go hand in hand. You're obviously doing your mocks, and you wouldn't think, oh, I'm so confidently going to pass if you don't revise, if you don't prepare. So self-work and hard work do go hand in hand in every situation. Positive thinking, positive thinking matters, but effort matters as well. Life asks us to do both, but not just physical. We have to do like the mental work, the spiritual work, whether that's in a friendship, a relationship, self work, everything. And the work of becoming someone you can respect when no one's watching. Because yes, it's nice for me to be stood here talking to you guys, sharing information, but it's also about my own self-respect, self-worth. It's for you guys, but it's also for me. Like, I dreamed and prayed to be able to do stuff like this. It's my first time public speaking, and this is something that I'm passionate about. So I want to do like an exercise with you guys, and I want to encourage you all to think about your future self. So obviously you've got pen and paper. Evie, you might have to get a little bit closer. So you've got pen and paper, because I want you to think about your future self and what is it that you want your future self to be doing. Write one thing down or two things down that would genuinely impress that version of you. Maybe it's going to bed earlier, reading more, saving money, learning a new skill. And if anybody wants, feel free to share. It's a safe space, you don't have to. This is not the sharing activity. But I just want you to think about it, and I want you to think, can I start this today? Not tomorrow, don't make excuses. Is it something that you can genuinely start? And just the fact that you guys have all been able to write something down shows me that you guys actually know that the future version of you exists, and you're actively thinking about that. So I'm going to put it on pause from me talking, and I'm going to welcome Harris back up, our guest speaker, man of many talents again, singer, public speaker.
Where do I start? I think being obviously at this event and speaking as part of, you know, the movement for Shazia, and kind of like, even when we were having discussions about this event before and like the space and stuff, I think one thing that stood out to me was probably the lack of this when I was younger and like growing up and coming up, and I think a lot of things, as an experience as a man, like, you internalize a lot of different things, and there's not as many open conversations about your struggles. And I think now we're fostering, as like society is growing and we're all kind of getting older and we have so many different avenues and resources, we're fostering healthy conversations around mental health and growth and development and goals. A little bit about myself. So I'm 28, I'm born and bred from Leeds. My mum and dad came to the UK from Pakistan in the 80s. I'm a musician. I studied music journalism at university. I went through the education system. I got my GCSEs. I went to a predominantly British white school. But culture and family and friends and even faith and religion has always been at the core of what's been stability in my life. So I think then as I grew older, being from that background and then wanting to pursue a creative industry or like go into singing or music or journalism, it opened that path to do that. But to be completely candid, that sounds really easy. Like, it was just all fun and games, and it was like, yeah, we're gonna go and we're gonna do music. Like, I'm sure that will feed you, son, like, kind of energy. And I think for me, the setbacks that I faced were things like rejection and being told that I wasn't a great singer, that music isn't something I should pursue, that I should maybe become an athlete or stick to education, do a trade, like become a doctor, become a lawyer, like the very typical generic things. And I think the key thing for me is probably resilience and not stopping at the first setback. I am not a man with a plan, and I think there's nothing bad about that, because any man can have a plan, but I think truly nothing ever goes to plan. And, as long as you've got an idea of where you are going, you can get there. But some of the major rejections that I've had could have most definitely been the reason for me to stop and not be here. Like, when I was 13, I went on Britain's Got Talent, and Simon Cowell pressed his buzzer and he said, "You're never going to make it. You're never going to, be a singer." All 4 buzzers were pressed, and I remember just being devastated, like being told by somebody who you'd think can, put you on an upward trajectory, that I wasn't going to do it. When I was 16, I went on The Voice and nobody turned around. And I remember when they did turn around, I asked them, "What were you doing at 16? And I remember just having that moment of being like, well, it's now what you make it. And again, like, you've only got one life. And, what are you going to do with it? Those are rejections that I probably could have internalized and stopped and just not done music and thought, do you know what, like, this isn't for me. The thing I would say is just don't stop whatever it is, whatever you're pursuing. Like us being here today, whether it's photography, musicianship, education, or just life, we can't stop. We just can't. As a grown man now, I can realise that although I was met with love and compassion and kindness from my parents and my family, in the outside world, I was not. And I didn't thrive in that environment. And that doesn't mean to be soft or to be naive. It means to be, accepting of what you're worthy of. And I don't think I thrived in the education system. And, these are all big counters of and indicators of why I maybe find myself here today, is because, everything it really does play out the way it's meant to play out. So.
And the system's put us in that box as well of
Yeah.
just one path, the 9 to 5. It works for some people, but not for everyone.
Yeah.
As humans, we're not made to operate like that.
It's true. And then on top of that, when you're a passionate person, but you're not passionate about the thing you're doing because it's not your true passion, it's incredibly conflicting. Because like for me, like I work in corporations or I go get a job knowing that like this isn't where I'm destined to be. So like, why am I gonna give everything I've got to this institution when my heart isn't here in the first place? So it's conflicting, but especially with music, because the reality of it is that you don't make a lot of money from music. Like you don't really eat from your craft until you're at a point where you connect with a lot of people and you have something of value to give people that they want to give back to. But yeah, I'm probably waffling now. Probably just like ranting on, but thank you for having me. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you faced a lot of
Sorry, a bit of a long-winded answer, but yeah. Any more for any more? Go on.
That was a good question. Building off of that, I wanted to ask you.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
So, I have got a bit more of a intimate activity now. So I really want you guys to write down one problem or two that you're facing right now. And it's all going to be anonymous, but we are actually going to rip it up, put it in a bucket, and then we're going to pick out people's problems. Ready for the bucket? Well, this is a safe space. The deeper, the darker, the better. The more interesting.
My dog is badly behaved.
Oh, someone's got a bad dog.
Stress in life in general at the moment.
Uncertainty if I will ever be able to save with the job I have.
Oh, you will. Whoever you are, you will. Visit family. Dad. Oh.
I want stability, but I know I do not need it right now.
Self-love.
I'm going to read one out. Someone said grief. Gain more clients. And the last one. Heartbreak. And these are problems, so it sounds depressing. It sounds like, oh my God, so negative. But it's just the reality of life. Like I said, we only get one life. We're going to obviously embrace the good times, but we have to embrace the bad times as well, because it kind of makes us who we are and it makes us stronger. Anyone in the world that we ask, everyone's got problems, big or small, but it's about actually realising it's my problem. And again, you only go through what you can handle. And I truly believe that, and I've always said that too. You only go through what you can handle, even if it's not right now and it feels questionable. Why am I going through this right now? But you are given that problem because you can handle it, whether you believe that or not. It's something that, again, I am faithful as well. So God has given you that problem for you to work through because he knows what that outcome is going to do for you. And that's what it's about. That was the last activity. I'm going to be wrapping up just because, as I said, the jazz event's going to be following us. So there's the pain of action and the pain of inaction. And as I said, we only get one life, and I think you've really got to decide, do I want the pain of action, the pain of discipline, the pain of trying, going to the gym, studying, whatever it is, but that is still pain. Do you want that pain, or do you want the pain of inaction? And even if it's not going to be something that will catch up to you right now, scrolling, chilling with friends, drinking, smoking, whatever it is, it's not going to be something that feels bad now. It just feels like, oh, I'm just having a good time, X, Y, and Z. And I'm not perfect. I'm not going to say I've never smoked, never drank, but it's the pain of action versus inaction, and it's about choices. I get sweaty, guys. I'm going to tell you that now. It's on camera as well. And I want to say, do it tired, similar to what you were saying. Do it tired, be persistent, and just keep going. Do it tired, do it alone. And the best things in history were created by tired people, whether that's in music, whether that's historical things, the books that we read, everything were built by tired people, because it is about that consistency. It is about doing it alone. You put in that work with people, but you have to put in that extra work by yourself. It's not about doing things for performance, it's about doing things for self-worth, self-respect. And I've said, be someone who decides that how you feel in the moment isn't more important than who you want to become. And I'm going to, like I said, wrap it up on my favourite quote: we get one life, just one. So why aren't we running like we're on fire towards our wildest dreams? So I'm going to end it there in terms of the little structured talk, but does anyone have any questions for me? Or am I just Harris's background singer?
Yeah, what inspired you to start this?
I've not actually spoken about myself during this event. I've spoken about Unfiltered Clarity. I've spoken about, the discussions. But I think what made me start Unfiltered Clarity goes beyond Unfiltered Clarity, funnily enough. It actually just started by being in a really dark time, dark space, and just thinking, I really want just some light, some light, some guidance, and some transparency as well. So I started Unfiltered Clarity because I really want that space for other people. I know that I've gone through dark times and I don't want anyone to ever experience that. But I also know, just as the problems that we all wrote down, everyone else has got their own individual darkness. And the point of Unfiltered Clarity is to come to something online or offline, because it is both things. It is that online and offline platform to think, do you know what, at least I've got this to come to, or me to come to. But it's also about connecting and networking with everyone else in Unfiltered Clarity. So I just started it, as I said, to help young adults navigate through early adulthood, because it is difficult. You know, I think we forget how difficult it is. Like I said, we've never been the age that we are before. We've never done this before. We only get the one life, and we're just figuring it out. So I just started it, even on a whim, because I've not got all the answers. I don't have a blueprint to hand over, but I just started it to create some sort of connectiveness, and that was really it. Yeah.
Community.
That's it, yeah. Online and offline community. Yeah. That is the end of Unfiltered Clarity's event, but Harris is going to sing 2 songs for us, and yeah, so hopefully you guys can stick around. Thank you so much for coming. I know the event was a bit all over the place, but honestly, thank you so much for coming, and yeah, I just feel like we were all meant to be here, otherwise we wouldn't have been here. So yeah, that's the end, but like I said, thank you for coming.